Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiv Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Dheeride Nashtaprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 44, The Killing of Kamsa. Text number 17 onwards. Evam prabhashamanas strishu yogeshwaro hari shatrum hantum manaschakre Bhagavan Bharat. Shukdev Goswami continued. As the women spoke thus, O hero of the Bharats, Lord Krishna, the master of all mystic power, made up his mind to kill his opponent. So the ladies were saying, this fight is not fair, Krishna and Balram, there's two young boys and all these wrestlers, they are very big and powerful, and it's not the fair one. But then Krishna said, okay, so he made up his mind to kill the opponents. Sabhya stri gira shrutva putra sneheshu chatro pitravanvat apietam putriyor abudho balam. Out of affection for the two lords, their parents, Devaki and Vasudev, became overwhelmed with sorrow when they heard the women's fearful statements. They grieved, not knowing their son's strength. Naturally, Krishna's parents would lament in this situation, thinking, why didn't we keep our sons at home? Why did we allow them to participate in this corrupt exhibition? Because they didn't know. Even those who knew, Yashoda and Nanda, they were there. Although Nanda Maharaj is there, but still, this parental emotions as such, they would still be thinking, I hope my kids are okay. Tester niyuddha vidibhir vividha rachute taro yudhate yathanyonyam tatha balamushtiko. Lord Balram and Mushtik, expertly displaying numerous wrestling techniques, battled each other in the same way that Lord Krishna and his opponent did. Bhagavad Gatra Nishpater Vajra Nishpesh Nishtura Chanura Bhajyamanango Muhur Glanim Ivapaha. The harsh blows from the Supreme Lord's limbs fell like the crushing, lightning bolts upon Chanur, breaking every part of his body and causing him more and more pain and fatigue. Chanur's elbows, arms, knees, and other limbs were all weakening. Sashenavega utpatya mushtikritya karavubho bhagvantam vasudevam kruddho vakshasya bhadata. Furious, Chanur attacked Lord Vasudev with the speed of a hawk and struck his chest with both fists. It appears that Chanur, realizing that he was being defeated, became furious and made a final attempt to defeat Lord Krishna. The demon certainly had the spirit of a good fighter, but if he hoped for victory, he was certainly in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person. Na chalat tat praharena malahat iva dvipaha payor nigraya chanuram bahusho brahmyan harihi bhuprishte pothya masa tarasa kshina jivitam visrasta kalpa keshasrag indradhvaj iva patat. No more shaken by the demon's mighty blows than an elephant struck with a flower garland. Lord Krishna grabbed Chanur by his arms, swung him around several times, and hurled him onto the ground with great force. His clothes, hair, and garland scattering, the wrestler fell down dead like a huge festival column collapsing. That is Krishna. So far, he was just playing around, but now he said, let me kill him. And he killed him. Srila Sridhar Swami explains the words Indradhvaja as follows. In Bengal, on the occasion of a certain festival, people erect a tall column in the form of a man and decorate it with flags, banners, etc. He, Chanur, fell just as such a pole might fall. तथैव मुष्टिकः पूर्वं समुष्टयाभिहतेन वै बलभद्रेण बलिना तलेनाभिहतो भृशम् प्रवेपितः सरुधिरम् उद्वमन् मुक्तो अर्दितः व्यसुपपातो व्यर्प्यस्थे वाताहत इवांग्रिपः. Similarly, Mushtik struck Lord Balbhadra with his fist and was slain. Receiving a violent blow from the mighty Lord's palm, the demon trembled all over in great pain, vomited blood, and then fell lifeless onto the ground like a tree blown down by the wind. तथा कूटम अनुप्राप्तम रामा प्रहर्तम वरः अवधील्य राजन सावज्ञम वाममुष्टिना. Confronted next by the wrestler Kuta, Lord Balram, the best of fighters, playfully and nonchalantly killed him with his left fist. O king, see, so detailed. With his left fist only he killed the next one. Tariyav hi shalah Krishna prapadahata shirshaka dvidha vidirana stoshalak ubhav api nipetatu. Then Krishna kicked in Shal's head and tore Toshal in half, and both wrestlers fell down dead. Chanure mushtike kute shale toshalake hate shesha pradur druvara mallaha sarve prana paripsavaha. Chanur, Mushtik, Kuta, Shal, and Toshal having been killed, the remaining wrestlers all fled for their lives. They just ran away. Gopan Vyasya na Krishya Tahsam Satsrijya Vijharatu Vaddimaneshu Turyeshu Valganto Rutuno Puru. Krishna and Balram then called the young cowherd boyfriends to join them, and in the company the lords danced about and sported, their ankle bells resounding and musical instruments played. Nowadays, we see that in championship boxing matches, as soon as there is victory, all the friends and relatives of the victorious boxer rush into the ring to congratulate him, and often the champion will dance about in great happiness. Exactly in this mood, Krishna and Balram danced about, celebrating their victory with their friends and relatives. Jana praja harshu sarve karmana rama krishnayo rite kansam vipramukhya sadha sadhu sadviti. Everyone except Kamsa rejoiced at the wonderful feat Krishna and Balram had performed. The exalted Brahmins and great saints exclaimed, "Excellent, excellent." It's understood that as the best of the Brahmins and saints were exclaiming, "Sadhu, sadhu," or "Excellent, excellent," the worst of the Brahmins, namely Kamsa's priests, were seriously grieving. Oh, what happened here? Hateshu mallavaryeshu vidruteshu cha bhojarat nevarya yasasturyani vakyam chedamuvachaha. The Bhoj king, seeing that his best wrestlers had all been killed or had fled, stopped the musical performance originally meant for his pleasure and spoke the following words. Nisaryat durvritto vasudevatmajo purata dhanam harat gopanam nandam badhanit durmatim. Kamsa said, "Drive the two wicked sons of Vasudeva out of the city. Confiscate the cowherd's property and arrest that fool, Nanda." Oh boy. Vasudevastu durmedha hanyatamash vasatam ugrasena pita chapi sanugah parpakshaga. Kill that most evil fool Vasudeva and also kill my father Ugrasen along with his followers who have all sided with our enemies. Evam vikatham anam ve kanse prakupito avyaya lagim notpatya tarsa mancham uttangam aruhat. As Kamsa thus raved so audaciously, the infallible Lord Krishna, intensely angry, quickly and easily jumped up onto the high royal dais. Namavishantam alokya mrityumatmanasana manasvi sahasothaya jagrihe so asicharmani. Seeing Lord Krishna approaching like death personified, the quick-witted Kamsa instantly rose from his seat and took up his sword and shield. Tam khang panim vicharantamashu shayanam dat yatha dakshina savyambare samagrihid durvishyaho grache teja yathoragam tarksha sutah prasaya. Sword in hand, Kamsa moved quickly from side to side like a hawk in the sky. But Lord Krishna, whose fearsome strength is irresistible, powerfully seized a demon, just as a son of Tarksha, that is Garudaji, might capture a snake. Pragriya kesheshu chalat kiritam nipatya rango pari tugam manchana tasyopa parishtat swam abjanabha papata vishwashraya atmatantra. Grabbing Kamsa by the hair and knocking off his crown, the lotus-naveled lord threw him off the elevated dais onto the wrestling mat. Then the independent lord, the support of the entire universe, threw himself upon the king. In Krishna book, Prabhupada describes the death of Kamsa as follows. Krishna at once straddled his chest and began to strike him over and over again. Simply from the strokes of Krishna's fist, Kamsa lost his vital force. Tam samparetam vichakarsha bhumu hariyarthe bham jagato vipashyata ha heti shabda subhan sabhud udirita sarvajanar narendra. As a lion drags a dead elephant, the Lord then dragged Kamsa's dead body along the ground in full view of everyone present. O king, all the people in the arena tumultuously cried out, oh, Kamsa was dead, and Krishna dragged his dead body along the ground. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that many people in the audience thought Kamsa had simply been knocked unconscious when thrown from the lofty dais. Therefore, Lord Krishna dragged his corpse so everyone would realize that the evil king was indeed dead. Thus, the exclamation, ha ha, indicates how surprised the people were that the king was suddenly dead and gone. The audience astonishment is also mentioned in the Vishnu Purana. Then the entire arena became filled with cries of astonishment as the people saw that the master of Mathura had been contemptuously killed by Krishna. So Krishna didn't kill him with armies or whatever, just killed him with the fists. And he was a very, very powerful king. Sanitya dod vigna dhiya tamishwaram pibanna danva vicharan supan shusan dadarsha chakra yudham agrato yatas tadeva rupam durvapa mapa. Kamsa had always been disturbed by the thought that the Supreme Lord was to kill him. Therefore, when drinking, eating, moving about, sleeping, or simply breathing, the king had always seen the Lord before him and with the disc weapon in his hand. Thus, Kamsa achieved the rare boon of attaining a form like the Lord's. Although born out of fear, Kamsa's constant meditation on the Supreme Lord eradicated all his offenses, and therefore the demon was liberated upon his death at the Lord's hands. See, even in fear and as an enemy, he always thought of Krishna. He got liberated. Tasyanuja bhratru ashto kankanyo grodh kadaya abhyadhavannati krubdha bhratur nirveshakarina. Kamsa's 8 younger brothers, led by Kanka and Naya Grodak, then attacked the Lord in a rage, seeking to avenge their brother's death. Tathapir abhasanstanstu sanyatan rohini sutta ahan parigham udyamya pashun eva mrigadhipa. As they ran swiftly towards the 2 lords, ready to strike, the son of Rohini slew them with his club, just as a lion easily kills other animals. So Balramji killed all of them. Nedundurubdubhyo vyomni brahmeshadya vibhutaya pushpa kirantastam prita shashansur nanrutu striyaha. Kettle drums resounded in the sky as Brahma, Shiva, and other demigods, the Lord's expansions, rained down flowers upon him with pleasure. They chanted his praises and their wives danced. Tesham striyo Maharaja, Surin Marana Dukkita, Tatra Bher Yur winning Nignantya, Shirshani Ashru Vilochana. My dear king, the wives of Kamsa and his brothers, aggrieved by the death of their well-wishing husbands, came forward with tearful eyes, beating their heads. Shayanan Veera Shayayam, Patina Linghya Shochati, Vilepu Suswaram Naryo, Visrijantayo Muhushuchaha. Embracing their husbands who lay on a hero's final bed, the sorrowful women loudly lamented while shedding constant tears. Ha Natha Priya Dharmagya Karunanath Vatsala Tvaya Hatena Nihata Vayam Te Sagrihi Prajaha. The women cried out, Alas, O Master, O dear one, O knower of religious principles, O King and compassionate protector of the shelterless. By your being slain, we have also been slain. Together we are with your household and offspring. Tvaya virahita pratya puriyam purusha rishab ashobhate vayamiv nivritot sarva mangala. O great hero among men, bereft of you, its master, the city has lost its beauty, just as we have, and all festivity and good fortune within it have come to an end. Anagasam tvam bhutanam kritvandro ulbanam tene mambho dashamito bhut dhrukko labhet shama. Oh dear one, you've been brought to this state because of the terrible violence you committed against innocent creatures. How can one who harms others attain happiness? Having expressed their sentimental grief, the ladies now speak practical wisdom. They are beginning to see things realistically because their minds were purified by the agony of the recent events and by the association of Lord Krishna. Association means they just saw Krishna and Balaram, but they got purified. So this is really true. We don't believe it when we have some power or some position. How can one who harms others attain happiness? Kamsa was very powerful. But instead of using that power and position in the service of others, he used it to hurt innocent creatures, especially the mother and father of Krishna and his own father, Maharaj Ugrasen. Put them in the prison house. So what was going to happen to him? Sarvesham e bhutanam esha hi prabhavapyaya gopta cha tadav dhyayi na kochit sukham edate. Lord Krishna causes the appearance and disappearance of all beings in this world, and he is a maintainer as well. One who disrespects him can never prosper happily. So Kamsa, for many, many years, he was ruling the kingdom, and apparently he was enjoying, but he wasn't enjoying because he was always in fear that Krishna is going to come and kill me, or the eighth son of Devaki is going to come and kill me. So outwardly we can think he was enjoying the kingdom. He was not at all enjoying. So thing is, if we do wrong activities, definitely we cannot enjoy. Even though we might have some possessions, opulence, or whatever, and at the same time, sooner or later, we'll get the reactions. Definitely we'll get the reactions. So what is the point in maintaining that kind of opulence when it is attained by creating so much of pain to others? What is the point? What are we trying to enjoy? There is no enjoyment. By lying, by creating pain, by cheating, there cannot be any enjoyment. Just some satisfaction that I have this much property, but very soon it will be taken away. And the punishment will be waiting. Shri Shukuvacha, Rajayoshit Ashwasya, Bhagwan Lok Bhavata, Yama Ur Lokikim Sanstam, Atanam Samakarya. Shukdev Goswami said, after consoling the royal ladies, Lord Krishna, sustainer of all the worlds, arranged for the prescribed funeral rites to be performed. So he knew how, according to Dharma, whatever has to be done. Just like Lord Ram also did for Ravan. Matram Pitram Cheva Mochitvat Bandhanat Krishna Ramo Bhavandate Shirsaspara Padayo. Then Krishna and Balram released their mother and father from bondage and offered obeisances to them, touching their feet with their heads. Devaki Vasudevascha Vigyaya Jagadishvaro Krita Sambandano Putro Sasvajate Nashankito. Devaki and Vasudeva, now knowing Krishna and Balram to be the lords of the universe, simply stood with joined palms. Being apprehensive, they did not embrace their sons because they were in this mood of awe and reverence that these boys, they are supreme lords. So they just stood there with joined arms. But this is not what Krishna and Balaram wanted. So let's see what they did in the next chapter. So thus ends the purports to 10th canto, 44th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Killing of Kamsa. So we still have time. We can start the next chapter, chapter 45. Krishna rescues his teacher's son. Next one. Shri Shukavacha Pitrava Uplabdhartho Viditva Purushottama Ma Bhuditi Nijam Maya Tatana Jan Mohini. Shukdev Goswami said, understanding that his parents were becoming aware of his transcendental opulences, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thought that this should not be allowed to happen. Thus he expanded his Yogmaya, which bewilders his devotees. If Vasudeva and Devaki would have seen Krishna as Almighty God, their intense love for him as a son would have been spoiled, and Lord Krishna did not want this. Rather, the Lord wanted to enjoy with them the ecstatic love of Vatsalya Ras, the relationship between parents and children. As Srila Prabhupada often pointed out, although we normally think of God as a Supreme Father, in Krishna consciousness, we can enter into Lord's pastimes and play the part of his parents, thus intensifying our love for him. This is the beauty of bhakti, Krishna consciousness. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out that the word jana may be translated here as devotees, as in the verse, Diyamanam nagrinanti vinamata sevanam jana. He further explains that jana may also be translated as parents. So jana is derived from the verb jana, which means to generate or to give birth to. In this sense of the word, as in Janani or Janako, the term Jan Mohini indicates that the Lord was about to expand his internal illusory potency so that Vasudeva and Devaki would again love him as their dear child. So just imagine the position of Vasudeva and Devaki. They first saw Krishna at the time of his birth, and they were in the prison of Kamsa. They were so fearful of Kamsa, and as soon as Krishna was born, he gave them instructions, and then he told them, "Okay, Vasudeva, your father, you take me to Gokul," and he was gone. Probably he was there in the prison house, maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, whatever. And then he was gone. And now they're seeing Krishna and Balram they had never seen because Balram was transferred from the womb to womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. Now they're seeing them after almost 11 years. 11 years of being in the prison house, being tortured by Kamsa. Now they're seeing, and these two boys had come and killed Kamsa. So we cannot even imagine the situation of Devaki and Vasudeva, but they must be going through right now. Uvacha pitra vetya sagraja satvata rishabha prashraya vanatah prinan ambatateti sadaram. Lord Krishna, the greatest of the Sattvatas, approached his parents with his elder brother, humbly bowing his head and gratifying them by respectfully addressing them as my dear mother and my dear father. Krishna spoke as follows. Nasmatto yuvyostata nityot kandit yorapi balya poganda kashora putra bhyam abhavan kuchit. Lord Krishna said, dear father, because of us, your two sons, you and Mother Devaki, always remained in anxiety and could never enjoy our childhood, boyhood, or youth. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur discusses this verse as follows. One may object that at this point, Lord Krishna had not actually passed the Kashor stage, age 10 to 15. Since the women of Mathura had stated, Krishna and Balram have very tender limbs, being still at the Kashor stage, not having reached adolescence. And they were not the adult yet. The definition of the different stages of growing up is given as follows. The Komar stage lasts until age of 5, Poganda up to 10, and Kashor to age 15. And from then on, one is known as Yauvan. So Komar 0 to 5, Pogand 5 to 10, Kashor 10 to 15, and then Yauvan. According to this statement, the Kashor period ends at the age of 15. Krishna was only 11 years old when he killed Kamsa. And since Krishna and Balram never took Brahminical initiation in Brajbhumi, it was at the time of their going to Mathura that the Kashor's stage began rather than ended. This objection to Lord Krishna's statement in the present verse that his parents could not enjoy his Kashor stage is based on the ordinary measurement of age. Yet we should consider the following statement from Bhagavad. So many technical things are there. The Krishna said, oh, you did not enjoy my Kashor age, Kashor. But he was still Kashor, according to calculations. But Bhagavatam itself says, O King Parikshit, within a short time, Ram and Krishna began to walk very easily in Gokul on their legs by their own strength without the need to crawl. So sometimes we see that the son of a king, even while in the Poganda stage of life, undergoes exceptional physical growth and exhibits activities appropriate to Kashor. So he was already into the Yovan age. He wasn't Kashor anymore, Kishore anymore. So the 3 years and 4 months that Krishna stayed in Mahavan, Gokul, were the equivalent of 5 years for an ordinary child. And thus, in that period, he completed his Komar stage of childhood. Period from then to the age of 6 years and 8 months, during which he lived in Vrindavan, constitutes his Paugand stage. And the period from the age of 6 years and 8 months through his 10th year, during which time he lived in Nandishvara or Nandagaon, constitutes his Kashor stage or Kishore stage. Then at the age of 10 years and 7 months, on the 13th lunar day of the dark fortnight of the month of Chaitra, he went to Mathura, and the next day he killed Kamsa. Thus he completed his Kashor period at the age 10, and he eternally remains at that age. So he is Nitya Kishore. He's always that age, but he looks a little bit more because he completed his Kashor age. In other words, we should understand that from this point on, the Lord remains forever a Kishore, Nitya Kishore. The Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur analyzes the intricacies of this verse. It's amazing how Acharyas explain everything, so we don't have any doubts about Krishna's pastimes, because people can ask this kind of question if they are really listening to or paying attention to, or they understand what is going on. But Acharyas explain everything. So anyway, I guess we can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments. Okay, so you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.